Thank you for joining us for this week's message at Crosswind Church. If you have any questions about this message or about Crosswind Church, please visit our website at www.crosswindchurch.net or email us at info@crosswindchurch.net.
So I'm in a very busy season of life right now for me. There is a whole lot going on. From responsibilities here at the church, it's ballpark season. Can I get an amen for that? And long drives, Nashville, Memphis, all that kind of stuff. Ministerial association, all kinds of things going on. Just super, super busy. And on Thursday, the National Day of Prayer event was over, and it was wonderful. It was great. And that evening, we had gone to a ball game, and we came home, and I was sitting on the couch, feeling pretty good about myself. Right? Feeling like I'd really accomplished a whole bunch. Like, really, I was a high-capacity kind of guy, and sitting on the couch watching TV, patting myself on the back. The kids were already in bed, and I heard this noise coming from the kitchen. And that's when I realized that my wife, Jody, was in there cleaning the kitchen. And it dawned on me that what is a really super busy season in my life, for her and a bunch of moms just like her, it's Thursday. Right? It's just regular. It's just normal. I mean, I got to thinking about it, and I realized that she is a teacher at Ridgemont Elementary School. That means that hundreds of students come through her classroom every day, and she's responsible for teaching middle schoolers, non-frontal lobe developed children, right? History and language arts. She volunteers here at Crosswind on Wednesday nights with our children. Dozens of kids, 18 or so volunteers in some way are influenced directly or indirectly by her. She is great help, but she's kind of responsible for that, making sure we have snacks and curriculum and all that sort of thing. She also leads a women's small group in my home on Sunday morning, which means that because I insist on being here ridiculously early on Sunday morning, she has to get both kids ready, prepare the house, make sure food is there, so that when these ladies show up for their small group, that she can lead them in prayer and lead them in studying the Bible. And then, she's got to deal with me, which means that she has to kind of make sure that I'm coddled, and my back gets patted at the right time. It means that she's got to make sure I don't look like a buffoon when I stand up in front of people in public. She loves and cares for her dad, her brother. They're 5 and 6 hours away, and she has 2 wonderful kids that she's responsible for driving around and planning the schedule and budgeting the budget and all those sorts of things. So last week I got engaged in this kind of activity, which I thought was kind of cool. See, we're in the process of interviewing folks to be the worship pastor here at the church, and Mallory's going to give us some update on that by the end of the service today. But as we interview them, we get a resume, and they list out like the job qualifications, and they list out all the things that they do on it, so we try to get known. So I thought, what would it look like if Jody, or if any of you moms were to write out, kind of what is it that you do? If you were to fill out a resume and put everything that you do on it, your job say, Jody would say 2005 to present, mom, like job title, right? And then all the things they do. This is just my list. I just came up with this last week. Here we go. Plumber, doctor, nurse, cook, housekeeper, landscaper, personal trainer, painter, handyman, teacher, counselor, computer support technician, craft queen, encourager, disciplinarian, bug squasher, wasp killer, car mechanic, story reader, boo-boo fixer, bump knee kisser, heartbreak hugger, price negotiator, financial advisor, loan shark banker, allowance giver, lawyer, chauffeur, career consultant, meal planner, personal shoppers, and other duties as assigned. As I came up with that, I thought immediately, those of you that are moms out here, those of you that have a mom out here, right? As I read the list, you went, yeah, that's pretty good, but you missed something, right? There's things that aren't on that list that you missed. I got to be honest with you, moms, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do all the things that you're supposed to do in the day. When I look at this, I think that it's absolutely amazing. You all rise before the sun comes up most days, lay your head down long after it's gone down. You cry when our heart breaks, sacrifice time, money, sleep, and energy for our benefit. You deal with sleep deprivation, caffeine addiction, crying children, and husbands, and then get up the next day to do it with a smile on your I don't know how you do it. And I'm so thankful for you that you do it. Because every single mom in here could hear that list and read through those things and you go, yeah, listen, that's just normal. That's just what moms do, right? See, the thing is, though, I'm so thankful for you, and I'm so thankful for what normal is to you, but if we're not careful, normal can lead us to some pretty dangerous places. If we're not careful, we'll allow normal to kind of move our priorities around. We'll allow normal to kind of put things in our life where they're not supposed to be. And as a result, normal can lead to, I've seen this in women and moms my entire ministry career. Normal can lead to things like high anxiety, high blood pressure. It can lead to things like burnout. It can lead to things like bitterness. It can lead to things like depression. Normal, I'm so thankful for normal, but if we're not careful, if we're not cautious, normal can in fact be a pretty dangerous place for us to be. Good news for us is today is that there's a passage in Scripture, a story that the Bible has to tell that we're going to look at today that I think kind of addresses this and tries to get us to think kind of abnormally. In fact, what I'm going to encourage you to do today is I'm going to encourage you to be weird. I'm going to encourage you to kind of move counterculturally to what society has to tell us. And the reason why I think this passage of Scripture is appropriate for Mother's Day is two reasons. Number one, it's because the woman that taught me most about pushing myself, about doing a little bit more, about going the extra mile was my mom. When I read this story in Scripture, I think about my mother, and I think about my life. I think about so many of you. The other reason why I think this passage of Scripture is important for mothers and Mother's Day is because it's not specifically about moms. In fact, we have no indication that the women talked about in this story are in fact moms. And what that means for us, it means whether you have kids or you don't have kids, it means whether you're married or you're single, it means whether you're a woman or a man. There's something in this passage for you, and there's something that we can learn about being abnormal and about being just a little bit weird. And so if you have your Bibles with you, and I really hope you do, grab them, and we're going to flip to the Gospel of Luke. It's one of the 4 stories in the New Testament that tells about what Jesus did while he was here on this earth. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Luke chapter 10 is where we're going to be, and we're going to kind of read through a passage of Scripture that if you've been in church any amount of time, you've heard of before. It's the story of 2 women. Let's read about them, beginning in verse 38, and the words will be on the screen so you can follow along with us if you don't have the Bible in front of you. Now as they, this is Jesus and his disciples, as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. Now, a couple of things about this. Jesus has just been kind of engaged in some teaching passages. He's taught about the Good Samaritan and told us what it means to do work on behalf of others. Who is my neighbor? And as he moves into this city, we kind of come up with a hallmark of Luke. See, Luke is based around these big travel narratives. Jesus ultimately making his way to Jerusalem, where it is he's going to face trial and face crucifixion and be raised from the dead. So as he's moving towards Jerusalem, he ends up in a little village. We know this village is named Bethany, and we know it was about 2 miles just outside of Jerusalem. And there he comes to this woman's house named Martha. Now, real quickly, we have to kind of talk about this, because this is normal for us to think about a woman being the head of the household, in charge of the house. We have that all the time. But in that day and age, this is a little bit bizarre. It's a little bit weird. In fact, that Martha has her house that she welcomes Jesus and his disciples into. Either she was the oldest, and maybe her mom and dad had deceased. Maybe she was a widow. We don't really know. Maybe Lazarus was the one that was really supposed to be in charge, but he wasn't there for some reason. But immediately, when the first century readers read that Martha invited Jesus and disciples into his home, they would have thrown up a kind of a little red flag. Well, that's just a little bit abnormal. That's just a little bit not quite right. And it says she welcomes him into her house. Why does she do that? She does that because hospitality is so important in that day and age. In fact, it was even more common around feast days to invite people in your home, even people you didn't know, because the population of Jerusalem would swell to maybe 3 times its normal size during, say feasts like the Passover. So she invites these men into her home, and she kind of begins doing the work to prepare for the meal and prepare for having guests. Now, I don't know if this is how it happens at your house, but I can remember my mother loving to host people. She loved having people over to our home, and then I married a woman that loves having people over to our home. But I can remember being in high school, that 14 or 15, the first time that my mom actually invited all of Dad's family, all of her in-laws, brothers and sisters and cousins and everybody, to come to our house for Christmas. I can remember. And Mom was like this crazy, I got all this stuff to do. I can't believe I invited all these people to my house even though I want them here. Don't get in my way or I'll run you over type of woman for the days going up to. The house had to be spotless. Every last detail had to be taken care of. We made sure that the food was right. Everybody was bringing other dishes. We made sure that everybody had those. We had scented candles playing and soft music in the background. I'm not making this up. My mom even went to the length to look at me days ahead and said, I need you, Jeremy, to plan, to entertain people on your guitar and singing while they're here so that there's some live entertainment. It's like, this is my living room. We don't have live entertainment. But that's what we had. Everything just kind of had to be perfect. I don't know if you guys are that way, but in our house, both Jody and I had to do a little flight of the bumblebee when people are coming over, right? When you just pick up and sweep up. And if there's a room they're not going in, then all the stuff that's in the room they're going to be in goes in the room that they're not going to be in, so the door can be shut so they don't see what's going on behind the door, right? And we shove stuff in drawers and just pray that they don't go looking for a fork. Because of what they'll see in there. You with me? In fact, I have a really good friend that talks about every time that somebody comes over to his house, he said we have to make it look like no one lives here. Because that's just the way that it is. And you want to know, I wanted to talk about this because I got to think about it this week. You know who I blame for this? Chip and Joanna Gaines. That's who I blame for this. Because look, after Chip renovates his house and fixes her up, and he hands it over to Joanna, and she buys all the antiques that we can never find and can't afford, she puts them in there with like real flowers floating in water, and all this, it just looks so beautiful and so perfect. And I was watching an episode of it a couple days ago, and this house was beautiful and spotless. Everything had a place. It had nice little baskets with stuff stacked in it very neatly. And all I could think about is, that's not sustainable. That's not real life. What I want to do is I want to come back 6 months from now when the kids' blue, purple folders, remember, have been unloaded into baskets and there's paper crawling out of them because we haven't had enough time to fix it all up. And the dog, barfed over there and we haven't had a chance to get to that yet. But the car, like it's just not sustainable. It's Fixer Upper, Chip and Joanna Gaines. They're the reason why we have to do this. But we all understand on some level what it's like when we have guests to want to come and fix it up. Make it look nice and make sure that the meal is good and make sure that things are clean and in order. And what Martha does is when Jesus shows up, she goes, oh, this is a very important teacher, a very important rabbi. I have to make preparations. I got to take care of all these details. Now, here's the thing I want you to understand. Details aren't bad. In fact, the details are good. Right? The soft music in the background and the scented candles and the clean rugs and all of that, that's not bad. Making sure that the meal is prepared and we have stuff to eat, those are very, very good things. She begins to become consumed by them. Look what happens next. Let's look just at the next verse 39. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. Now, again, what you would have understood when you read this in the first century was, first of all, it's odd for kind of Martha to have a house where she's in charge and over everything. It's also incredibly odd that a woman would go and sit at the feet of the rabbi. For a woman to go and listen to what this man had to say, that was unheard of. Women didn't have the right to go do that. They didn't have the privilege to go do that. That was something that in the first century was not anything that was allowed to them. This is what makes me chuckle every time I hear somebody talk about how Christianity is only made up of misogynists who want to keep women down and put women in their place. I just want to know if they've ever read history. Because you see, Christianity has done more to liberate women and to free up women and allow women and empower women than any other world religion has up to this point. It's awesome. It's amazing. I'm so thankful for it. And what this illustrates is how Jesus looks at a woman who shouldn't be allowed to come sit at his feet, and he allows her and welcomes her to come and to listen to him teach about the kingdom of God. It's remarkable. It's remarkable. But, if you've ever had a sister If you ever had a sister that had different priorities, you can imagine what might be coming next. Look at verse 40. But Martha was distracted with much serving, too many details to take care of, too many other things going on. And she went up to him, she went to Jesus and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her to help me. In this one verse, she goes from passive-aggressive to aggressive, right? You get like the passive-aggressive, right? Lord, don't you care that she isn't helping me? Which implies you should care. She isn't helping me, right? There's this passive-aggressiveness that kind of exists in Martha's tone. She sees Mary sitting there at the feet of Jesus while she's worried that the pork tenderloin's going to come out overcooked, and she has had enough of her sister. They were Jews. It wasn't pork tenderloin. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Whatever it was. Deer tenderloin. Okay, anyway. Have you ever had somebody in your life whose priorities were just a little bit different than yours? Right? So my wife and I've gone on record to let you all know that when it comes to cleaning and straightening up and those sorts of things, she has a different idea of what's important than I have an idea. And I can remember several years ago, we were living in Alabama, and it was a Saturday, and there were some things we needed to do around the house, and I do my best still to get laundry done, folded and put away on Friday, my off day, so that Joe didn't have to do that. But sometimes I don't get it all done, like this last Friday I didn't get it all done, and so it spills over to Saturday, and sometimes into Sunday, and then into Monday, right? I'm not real good about that. But this Saturday, there was some laundry that needed to be folded and put away, and because that's something that kind of falls below on the priority list in my house, sometimes we live out of laundry baskets, and that's okay, and it's not okay, but we do it anyway. And so I was like, okay, it's Saturday morning, I'm going to do this laundry, put this laundry away, and so I've got the basket, and I'm going around, I'm just like, super dad, whatever you may call it, and I'm walking in the living room, and my wife is sitting on the floor with a wad of paper and a paper shredder, and she's just going, shred paper. Shred paper. And it's just over and over again. So I walk by, it's like, oh, she's shredding some paper. And I walk by, and I'm putting away clothes, and while I'm in the girls' room, I can hear her in the living room. And I start thinking to myself, and this would go a lot faster. If she would just prioritize the way that I prioritize, if she would just realize that it's more important that my daughters have underwear in their drawers than it is that that paper gets shredded. Right? So I pass back by again, and she's just happy as a lark, just she wasn't, but I could imagine her singing or whatever, just like, And I walk by and get some more laundry, and I can remember coming back and looking at her like, what are you doing? Can't you see I'm doing work here? It's like, well, I ain't necessarily playing in the living room, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing some work too. And the problem is this, look, I had prioritized correctly. I've already fought that battle, it's okay. Listen. I had prioritized not correctly, but I had prioritized one way. You with me? She had prioritized another way. Sometimes when you have individuals that prioritize different things, it can build frustration between you. Because you wonder why they don't see things the way you do. You understand why they don't think the same things are important. Go down the same path. It wasn't that the shredding paper wasn't important. It was important. It wasn't that putting away laundry wasn't important. It was important. Neither one was better or different, or neither one, was better or worse. They were just different. We had prioritized differently. What we have as we picture Mary and Martha here is we have two women who are doing very good things. Two women who are doing what they ought to do, but who have prioritized differently. For Martha, it was important that the work get done, that the house get cleaned, that the preparations be made, that the meal be taken care of. Mary, it's important that she sit at the feet of Jesus. Learn about the kingdom of God. See, I want to be sure that I'm super clear on this. Sometimes what happens when we preach on this, or pastors preach on this, they preach about Mary and Martha, and how Mary is better than Martha. But I had a seminary professor that said, pastors, for every sermon you preach on Mary and Martha, be sure that you preach one on Martha and Mary. Because what Martha is doing is also important. They had just prioritized differently, but Martha was angry because her sister didn't see things the way that she saw them. Now Jesus is about to respond. Look what he says. Verse 41. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha. Now, I'm going to show my age here, because when I read that, the first thing I go is, Martha, Martha, Martha. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And it's not that sarcastic tone that's coming from Jesus. It's not that I'm going to try to get you kind of Jesus, or hey, you're wrong kind of tone that sometimes we think about. This is a loving tone. This is a caring tone. This is, hey, I need you to understand something. I need you to get something. Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. I want to interpret here something. You're anxious and troubled about many good things. We like to eat. It's nice if you know, you've cleaned up a little bit, right? We have a place to sit that's not kind of covered over with laundry. You're worried and anxious about many things. But one thing is necessary. Some translations say only one is necessary. Only one. What Jesus is saying is that although you all are both concerned about good things, what's happened is that Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. Mary has chosen what is best. Mary has chosen something that's better than good. She's chosen something that is not always going to be with her. You see, in context, what Jesus might say is, Martha, you know what? We're going to eat one way or the other. Martha, you know what? One way or the other, the house is going to be clean or it's not. But in a few days, I'm going to go to Jerusalem, and I'm going to be nailed to a cross, and in a few days, I'm not going to be here anymore. And your house will still be dirty. That's okay. It's okay sometimes for you to let go of some of these good things so that you can take just a moment and focus on what is incredibly good. The thing is that when we begin to prioritize Jesus first, when we begin to prioritize Him as number one in our life, that is so countercultural to what the world does that it will make you look weird. You know what will happen when you start putting Jesus first? You start prioritizing Him? It'll make people uncomfortable. In fact, if you know that to be true, like go and hang around people that are doing, X, Y, or Z, and then don't do X, Y, or Z. How long will it take them to try to get you to join in with them in the activity, right? Because when you do something different, prioritize different, you set your sights on something that's different, well, it just makes everybody a little bit uncomfortable. It makes everybody kind of question what they're doing. The thing that I want to tell you is this, moms, you wear so many hats in our house. You wear so many hats for your children. You do so many things for your husbands, relatives, fathers, and brothers and sisters, right? You do so much. It's dangerous sometimes, though, when all of those details become of greater importance than our time with Jesus Christ. I got to thinking about it, and I thought, why is it that it's so easy for us, men, women, moms, non-moms, why is it so easy for us to take the busyness of life and promote it up higher than Jesus, higher than sitting at His feet? First of all, I thought, well, it's easy because we always think, well, I can just do that a little bit later. Most of you all get up in the morning and you're ready to go, and you've got 1,000 ideas in your head, and you remember all this has to be done. Before you ever really even start moving in one direction or another, you already have your to-do list kind of going in your mind. Maybe you made yourself a to-do list before you even got out of bed. I had a friend that used to email himself at the end of every day, so that the first thing you read the email and remind him of the to-do list that you had the next day. Right? Maybe that's you. So you get going, and you go, okay, you know what I'll do? As soon as I get to work, then I'm going to spend some time with Jesus. As soon as I get to work, then I'm going to sit at His feet and allow Him to kind of pour into me. And then you get to work, and you're met with all these deadlines and all these things that have to be done right now. So you go, okay, well, on my lunch break, I'll be able to go for a walk, and I'll just be able to spend some time in prayer, talking to God. And before long, you get the phone call, and somebody needs to meet you for lunch, and we have to do a lunch appointment. We have to do all those things, right? And we go, okay, well, as soon as I get to the end of the day, when it's kids and homework and the ballpark, and you go, okay, well, I'll do it as soon as I get home from the ballpark. And you do that, you have to put kids to bed, and then before you know it, you're exhausted, but you still have to clean the kitchen. And so you go, and you do, 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 and it's just easy to go, you know what, I'll get up super early tomorrow, and I'll spend some time with Jesus tomorrow. It's so easy to just kind of push Him right out of our schedule. Another thing that I think drives this with us is what I call FOMO. You guys have heard of YOLO. You only live once. FOMO is fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. This is so important. Do you really realize why we check Instagram 12 times a day? Why do we spend so much time on social media reading about other people's lives? Because we're so afraid that if we don't, we might miss something. I can remember when our girls first started getting old enough to play organized sports. Emma was in a town where they had a soccer league, and she was little bitty. She was maybe 4, and maybe 3 or 4, and she didn't even know soccer existed, right? She didn't know it was anything. And yet we had some of our friends, their kids were playing soccer, and I can remember having a conversation where it kind of is this way. We're like, we don't want her to miss out on opportunity. We don't want her to miss out on experiences. We want her to be able to have that stuff. We want her to be able to play the piano because we want to make sure that she has that kind of musical whatever, and so we sign up for one more thing. Well, I'm going to go and develop relationships with other people in our community, so I'm going to go be a part of this civic organization, I'm going to be part of this group, or I'm going to be on this board, or I'm going to work for this organization, or I'm going to go and I'm going to give myself 1,000 different places and 1,000 different things to do, and the reason that I do it is because I'm afraid if I don't, I might miss out on something. The thing is, y'all, look, what we miss out on is time with Jesus. What we miss out on is on the things that are the most important. We just kind of keep pushing him back in the schedule. We just kind of keep pushing him back in our day. And ultimately, so many of us go push him out of our lives. It's kind of even counterintuitive when you think about it. When you add Jesus into your schedule, it adds one more thing, but do you realize that everything else in your day tends to fall into place just a little bit better when you place him first? I'll just speak for my wife here. Every morning, we wake up. She wakes up long before me. She gets up long before either of the kids do, and even long before I do, and she does 2 things. She runs and she spends time with Jesus. That's what she does. And every morning, I can tell whether or not she's been able to do that by the way she greets me and by her body language in the morning. Now, she may argue a little bit differently, but I have a microphone. Here's what happens. Look, I wake up those mornings, and I find my wife, and I ask her, hey, how did you sleep? Hey, what's wrong? Right? It happens too much, and inevitably, every time we have this conversation, this is what she goes, yeah, I slept in too much today, and I didn't get time to run. I didn't get time to spend time with Jesus. And when that doesn't happen for her day is shot. Not just the first couple hours, not just the first half of the day. She is done. And she's starting behind the 8 ball because she allowed other priorities creep up above Jesus in your life. So moms, I know you're busy. Moms, I know you do so much for us. And the things that you do are important. The things that you do matter. The things that you do should be priorities in your life. What I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to choose the best portion. I'm asking you to start taking just a little bit of time and devoting some time to sitting at the Savior's feet. Devoting some time to sitting under Jesus and allowing him to pour into you. Because here's what will happen. He'll give you the strength to make it through your to-do schedule. He'll give you the endurance to make it through your day. He'll give you a peace that's not linked to your busyness and a joy that's not linked to your bank account. He'll fill you up and allow you to do more than you could ever possibly imagine. I know that. Asking you to choose that. I wanted to give you some resources and help you out just a little bit because I know that can be such a daunting thing to say. Go spend time with Jesus. Pass the plate. Go on. Right? But how exactly do you do that? How exactly do you figure out how to do that? I asked my wife this, and I said, I asked you to compile some things for me to see so that I can give some things to these women today to help them try to figure out how to put more Jesus in their life, how to put a priority in their life. And she said one of the things that she loves to do is she listens to podcasts. Let me tell you the best thing about podcasts is you can download a podcast, a preacher preaching, or her favorite is a podcast called The God-Centered Mom by Heather McFadden. And what she does is Jody will put it on her phone, listen to it. She'll do it while she's in the shower. She'll do it while she's making dinner. She'll do it while she's driving down the road. She'll do it while she's out on her runs. She will just allow some godly wisdom from Scripture to be poured into her life. There's plenty of podcasts that you can go and listen to, including Crosswind Church. You know we have a podcast? Go check it out. Anyway, now, other things that she said is, listen, if you're wanting to kind of get into the Word and read and study, but you don't really know where to start, there were two places, or actually three, that she wanted to kind of point you to. Two of them are devotions written by women for women. The first one is at a website called girlfriendsingod.com. Jody gets emails from them just about every day, I think, that 5 days a week that tell you, here's a Bible passage, here's something that somebody's written about that Bible passage. Proverbs31.org is another website that you can go to, and you can get some of those things. And then I wanted to tell you, if you haven't discovered it already, if you have a smartphone, the Bible app, YouVersion of the Bible, is absolutely amazing. You may not know this, but YouVersion was actually developed by a church in Oklahoma and then given away free by that church to just whoever wants to read it. You can read your Bible on YouVersion, on your phone, on your tablet, in any translation that you want, in a gazillion of languages. A gazillion is an actual number of languages that they have. You can look up all these languages, and what's great about it is their reading plans online. So if you don't know where to start, you can go and hit the reading plans button, and if you're a mom, you can go, I want reading plans for mom. It pulls up reading plans and walks you through the scriptures that will help feed you and help encourage you throughout your day. You can go and say, I want reading plans for single moms. I want reading plans for empty nest moms. I want reading plans for people who want to be moms, right? And you can go and you can read all of that. And what's great about YouVersion, this new feature that they've added in the last couple of years, is it'll read to you. How lazy are we? It'll read it to you. You just said, hey, read this. And some dude with a British accent will read you the Bible, right? And so, it's awesome. You have all of these resources, and all of them are free. What I want you to do, I don't care if you have your own website, or if you go to a blog page, or if you get a podcast. What I'm encouraging you to do, women, moms, take time to sit at the feet of Jesus. Do it first. Take time to do it. Do it regularly. Guard that time. Guard that time above all else. Because ultimately, if you don't allow Christ to pour into you, then you can't be the mother He wants you to be. If you don't allow Christ to pour into you, you can't be the wife He wants you to be. If you don't allow Christ to pour into you, you can't be the employee, the boss, the board member, the ballpark parent. He wants you to be. But I told you there was something in here for everybody. See, I think that this is a lesson that we all can take. It's a lesson that every single one of us, including me, needs to go, you know what? It needs to be something that's a super priority, that needs to be guarded and protected, that every day we sit at the feet of Jesus and allow Him to speak to us. 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, where we allow Him to speak directly to our hearts. Today's Mother's Day, so I want to talk just a little bit about what we can do for our moms. First of all, if you're here today and you do not have children, right? Maybe you're in high school or college, maybe God has not allowed that to happen in your life yet. What I want to encourage you to do is this. Look, do not be discouraged. Do not be discouraged. Start these habits early, long before you have children. And they will stay with you long after your children are gone. Here's the thing that you don't know yet, especially those that are in high school information. See, you think things are stressful. And I know they are. I know they are. I know you got ACTs, and you got tests, and exams, and where you're going to go to college, what are you going to do with your life, and I understand that. Here's the thing. When those stresses go away, they're just replaced by another stress. And then we think, well, now I'm dating, and I'm engaged, and I got the stress of the wedding. I've heard this time and time again. Once we get this wedding past us, all our stress will go away. And no, it doesn't. It's just replaced with some other stress. But now you're living with a boy. Right? And then we go, well, listen, I know we're trying to have kids, and now once we have kids, then the stress will go away. And God bless your simple thinking, because that's not what happens at all. See, the thing is that things get more complex as we get older. And as we move up the ladder, things get more complex. And right now, when you don't have children, God bless you. I'm praying that God will bless you with those children. I really am. But begin these habits now. Sit at the feet of God now. Guard that time now. And it'll be something that stays with you long after kids have come and moved on to college. The other thing that I want to talk about is for those of you whose children have already grown up and moved out, for those of you who are grandmas and now are dealing with grandbabies, number one, I want you to understand, women, older women particularly, you all have so much wisdom that you can offer these ladies. You all have so much. Don't think that just because you've raised your kids that God's done with you. Don't think that just because your kids have gone off to college that now all of a sudden there's nothing left for me to do. No, listen, you have so much wisdom. What I want to encourage you to do is to invest in the lives of these younger women and these younger moms. I want you to call them up and pray for them. I want you to let them know you're praying for them. I want you to model for them what a woman should be. I want you to model for them what it looks like to sit at the feet of your Savior every day. And then I want you to encourage them to do the same and to guard their time. Be there when they have questions. Pray for them when things are hard in their marriage. And give them advice when they're having trouble with their children. Help us as we seek to become more like Christ. The thing is, you're no different than these other women. You're just a little farther down the road. When you come from a little farther down the road, you can help them avoid the pitfalls and snares that maybe you yourself fell in. Your friends fell in. Then, I want to encourage you. If you're here today and you're single, you're not married, begin these habits. Begin sitting at the feet of God. Because here's the thing, watch. The type of woman you're looking for is looking for a man that allows God to pour into his life. I want to say that again. The type of man, the type of woman you're looking for, men, that woman is looking for a man who allows God to pour into his heart. Who allows God to encourage him and infuse him with strength and masculinity that doesn't come from notches on bedposts, but comes from having a God that fills you and dwells you and leads you and guides you in everything that you do. Men, begin these habits today. The woman you're looking for is looking for a man that has these habits. But if you are married, let me tell you guys, there's a lot you can do for the women in our lives. I want you to guard this time. See, every day your wife, every day the mother of your children is going to be committed to sitting down and allowing God to pour into her. Through a podcast, through a Bible study, through a devotion time, through just prayer, journaling, whatever that may be. And she's going to try to be doing that. Here's what you can do. Ready? Protect that time for her. Get up and make lunches so she doesn't have to do it. Get up and clean up the kitchen so she doesn't have to worry about it. Take something else off of her plate so that all of the other good things that she does for us can be relaxed for just a little bit so that she can take her most important time of the day at the feet of Jesus rather than at the foot of the dishwasher. Protect that time. Take the kids to school. Get them dressed. Guys, learn how to put your girl's hair up in a ponytail. Look, I'm telling you, you can do this and you need to do this. Listen. Married guys, listen. When we do this, it's not just good for our wives, it's good for us too. Just try it. Just try it. See, no matter who you are, no matter what stage of life you're in, we've got to learn to prioritize different than the world tells us to prioritize. We've got to learn to take all of the good things that we do, all of the wonderful things, the necessary things that we do, and go, listen, they're important, and I'm going to get to them. There's something that's even more important that without I'm not complete. Because here's what I want you to know. The laundry will still be there tomorrow. The kitchen, you'll still need cleaning tomorrow. Ballpark isn't going anywhere. All of those things will still be here. You get done sitting at the feet of Jesus. Mothers, single mothers, women who are married, women who are single, women without children, husbands, men. My prayer for all of us is that today we would learn how to be sometimes Martha, but always